Hi, I'm Mark, the electronic engineer, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm not going to share something I built, but I'm going to do a review of a soldering station I bought at Alieexpress. The brand is JABE, and I never heard of it, but the product looks similar to the ones that JBC put in the market, and I can only conclude that this is a China copy of this very popular soldering station from JBC. The big difference is price. The JBC is listed for a few $100, while the China clone you can get it for less than half the price. So I'm going to do a review. I'm going to open it up, see what's inside, and see if it's a solid build, to see if it's worth every penny. Okay, so this is the unpacking of the JABE soldering station. It's actually a clone of a very famous and popular brand called JBC. And as they do with many stuff, the Chinese people copied it and made their own version, which is hopefully just as stable and good as the JBC, at least in a hobby way, meaning the professionally I probably would have bought a JBC, but for hobbies and home soldering, this would be perfect. Comes in a nice box. That's the warranty card, after sales suggestions in Chinese and English. There's a manual. It's well, Chinese at first. I suspect there's the English version in the back. Yeah, here it is. It says power consumption 130 watts, an output voltage of double 16 volts, and the temperature range would be between 50 and 520 degrees Celsius. Temperature stability of 2 degrees, which is about the same as the JBC. Oh, they wrap that nicely. There's a power cord, of course. This is a wire to connect it to a ESD safety nut for working, or whatever ESD precaution you have. This is actually the soldering ironing the holder. Let me unpack that. Yeah, it's really a copy of the JBC. It says 2245, even the number is the same as JBC. It has a nice soldering iron, which is actually the tip, and the tip is basically your soldering iron, and everything else you can see as a power supply, regulated power supply. And the tip itself, it has a heater and a sensor, and basically you get these in many shapes and forms, and this fits nicely in the holder. And there you have it, your soldering. Oh, the station is rather heavy. There's an extra 2 tips here. Let me get those and put the box out of the way. Yeah. So basically what we have is 3 tips. It says JABE on the tips, so that's a clone also. It's not really a JBC, but a JABE. The soldering station looks firm and solid, just like the JBC. Actually, it's what I expected. It smells rather new. Here's a little sponge that you can make wet, but this is the most important. It's a brass sponge to clean your tip. It has a nice protection foil on the display. 3 buttons, the tip holder to exchange tips. Basically how it works is like this. They go in there. And now it's rather easy to change the tip. Because you can just hook it in here while it's hot and switch it. And that's how it works. This one goes in the back. That would be right there. Then we'll get the power cord and we'll plug it in. See what happens. See if the lights stay. So let me show you how to operate it. The minute you switch it on, you get a nice welcome message. Welcome soldering station. And after switch on, it immediately shows the temperature that it uses for standby. That is the temperature whenever the soldering iron is in the holder. That's the set temperature it will be set at, and it will keep it warm, at in this case 150 degrees. Now let's go to the menu. First is the station settings. You can change pin, power. You can actually lower the maximum power. It's set to 130, but you could lower it if you want to save your tip. Of course you can change the temperature, Celsius, Fahrenheit. Then there is the maximum temperature you can set. Well, the tin melts at around 275 degrees, and if it's a lead-free version, it's a bit higher, but I usually don't go above 350. So 415 is more than enough. I think factory default it comes at 500. I already changed that. What else was there? Temperature, maximum temperature. Same for the minimum temperature. How low you can set it? Well, can't imagine why you want to go lower than 50. A beep. Every time you press the button, it shows a beep, or the beep sounds. If you don't want it, you can switch it off. A lock, you can put a lock on it so that not everybody can change the settings. There's a pin code for that. Display lamp, lamp light. I have no idea what it does. Let's try it. Oh, it's a display light. Okay, makes sense. And then there is the next in menu is tool settings. Fix one temperature. Yeah, okay, I have set it to 1 temperature. The sleep temperature, that is the temperature I showed at the beginning. Whenever the holder is in the stand, it will drop to this temperature. It's called sleeping, and yeah, it does it immediately. I put it down, or I can put a delay here. If I put it down and say, okay, wait 10 minutes before you go to sleep. A stop delay before it totally shuts down. A temperature adjustment can be used for calibration. In order to calibrate, of course, you need a temperature readout box where you can just hold the tip to it, and then it will show you the temperature of the tip, and here you can adjust it if needed. Oh, we waited too long. Wait. So then there is counters. Well, this station is brand new. I used it for 1 hour and 6 hours in standby. That's because while doing this video I was kind of busy doing some other things, you know, daily life. And then there is the program version. It's this one. It shows you the software version and the manufacturing date, or the updated date. I never updated it, so for me this is the manufacturing date. And of course you can reset it back to factory default, which I'm not going to do this time. So right now the system is in sleep mode, in standby, because the holder is in the tip holder is in the stand, and the minute I will pull out this holder, you will see the temperature rise to the set temperature. And just look how quickly that goes. This is real time. I'm ready to go. On temperature, can start soldering. And the minute I put it back, it cools down to the sleeping temperature of 150. I'll pick it up, it will increase again. That's how fast it goes. It's ready to go. In the meanwhile, we can take a look at the tips. There's the one that's in there now, which is same as this one, only straight, and this one has a curve. So this one also comes straight instead of a curved tip, and the straight one is in it right now, and this one has a wider tip. There are many variations of these tips available, and I prefer to have a small one and one bigger one for when I need more power, and a small one for S&B soldering. So on the outside it looks rather great. It's solid as expected, same as the JBC. Looks quite good quality actually. It's better than I expected from Chinese, which is a good thing. So basically I saved out a few $100 because the JBC station originally cost around 400 or 500 euro if I'm not mistaken, and this one is only 100 and a bit, so it saves out quite a few bucks. Okay, so now let me shut it down. I will wait for it to cool down, and then I will open it up and look at the inside. Okay, so I removed the 4 screws that are here, so let's open it up carefully, because I don't know what wires will be attached. And here we have it. So it's basically a transformer, big transformer, the connector for the soldering iron, and I see some solid soldering and connectors inside. And basically this is the PCB. Remove, seal after wash. I never understand. I always see them, and I like to remove it because then the buzzer makes a more solid sound. Basically this is on the buzzer when they produce the PCB after assembling all the components. They used to wash it to wash off the residue from soldering, and this is there to protect the buzzer from becoming wet from the washing liquid, and you're supposed to remove it afterwards, but they never do, so I'll just do it for them. So basically what we see here is a few components, buzzer, some capacitors. These are actually the FETs that control the soldering iron, and those are power FETs. Those will control the heater cartridge. The controller, which is, let's see if I can, oh, it's an ARM controller. It says the ARM ST, and then I cannot see, I have to get a light, just a second. Here we have it. It's an STM32F103, which is widely available if you need to repair it, although you have to upload some firmware. There's a fuse, an internal fuse right there, and that's it basically. I'm not going to remove the PCB any further, it's not that spectacular. There's some components there, but it basically looks like a very solid PCB assembled decent. It's not just some Chinese crap as I would often see it when I order at AliExpress, but this one is actually quite decent. I'm very pleased with this purchase. And I'm actually very pleased with this buy. So let me close it back up. Let me reconnect this. See if it still switches on. And there we have it. Well, that was it for the JABE station, but in order to compare well, I also opened up an original JBC station, and let me share with you what I found. This is an original JBC soldering station. It also has a sponge like the China clone and a brass kind of sponge to clean the tip. Of course, the holder for the soldering iron is detachable, and it looks just like the China clone. Actually, it's not that different. Let us open this one up to compare. And here we have the inside. Basically, it has a transformer, same as a clone. It has a main PCB. Of course, this is a different driver. This one has a different microcontroller. It says microchip PIC33F. There's an internal fuse, but other than that, it's not that special. The only big difference is this one has a USB connector, whatever it is used for, probably to reprogram it, I'm not sure. That's the only difference with the clone, actually, when it comes to connections. So in the end, I can only conclude that the JABE system is not only cheaper than the JBC, it's less than half the price of the JBC system, but it's also solidly built. It has a what looks decent, reliable PCB inside and power transformer, and the function is nearly the same as the JBC. So it's a China clone, yes, but it's not just something that was cloned overnight. They put in some effort this time. It has a solid housing. One thing I have to say about the price, though, although I say it's less than half the price of a JBC, in all fairness, JBC put in a lot of time and effort to develop and perfect this product, and of course that's something you pay for in your product, so it's more than just materials, it's also a return of investment. And when you build a clone, it's basically just the time and effort you put in it to clone it and not to develop it, so that would explain the huge price difference. However, if you need it for hobby purpose, then it's more than solid. It's a good buy. On a professional level, I would probably go for the JBC, but that's more related to warranty, and in case something happens to it, if it breaks down and I need parts, either I can get the parts, or I have to ship it in for repair, and doing that with a China unit, it's a bit more complicated than with established brand with a local distributor.